welcome to another round of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. Now, we're here at Donington Park this weekend and we're gracing the GP circuit. Now, most of our drivers haven't actually graced this part of the circuit before, so I'm going to very quickly, with 1B about to get underway. Thomas, you've put it on pole this weekend. Have you done the GP circuit before?
About 10 years ago, so a little bit nervous, but I had a few laps on Thursday before we had a little electrical fault, so I've had about 5 laps on the GP circuit, so fingers crossed it should be okay.
Have you normally raced it before in the normal setup that we do here in the Mazdas?
No, first year of Mazdas, so I've done every round apart from Pembury, and just hoping that we can kind of keep it all together, not make too many mistakes, and hopefully a few of the guys will stay behind.
Is there any nerves going into, obviously this is the first time starting on pole?
Yeah, a few nerves. I mean, I think it's only natural for there to be a few nerves, but yeah, fingers crossed it should be okay. And actually, you know what, when the lights go out, it's always okay.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Thomas. So on that, we're going to hand it straight over to Andy to run you through all of the action.
Thanks, Lyndsay. Well, this is a fascinating race in prospect then, because there are lots of drivers towards the back of this grid who we would expect to see at the front of the A grid. At the front of this grid, though, it's Mallet and Michael Nibbs, with Toby Owen and Matt Fletcher row 2, Richard Bartlett and Christopher Ginner next, ahead of Pete Lancaster and Christian Dan, then William Bream and Bruce Robinson to round out the top 10. Next up is Ashley Heath ahead of Jonathan Fieldsend, then Andrew McGregor and Bill Rawls, Rob Mugglestone and Luke Such down on the 8th row. Luke, one to watch for, I think, moving forward. Now, towards the back, look, there are some who were disqualified from qualifying for flag infringements, including Ollie Allwood, Martin Tolley, Marcus Bailey, Matt Luff, Jack Brewer and Adam Craig, meanwhile, have penalties as well. There are also a couple who have penalties applied from Alton Park, and therefore they are further down the order than they should be as well. So it's a very jumbled up order, this one. Should be an entertaining 20 minutes of racing. The orange car then of Tom Mallet on pole position. The lights go out, away they go, down towards Redgate Corner for the first time. Even start from both the front row men, but I think it should be Mallet that leads them into Redgate for the first time. Michael Nibbs on the outside line, one car on the grass further back. Who gets into Redgate first though? Nibbs trying to go right round the outside actually, and that might have worked. We'll try and pick them up in a moment or two. There's Jack Brewer, look, the yellow and red car on the inside line. He's had a really good start, already past 4 or 5 cars, in fact more than that probably. Already past about 10 of them I think as they go down through Hollywood, but it's still side by side for the lead, with Nibbs on the right hand side of the shot going through now, and Tom Mallet in the orange car dropping down into second place. Then it's Matt Fletcher, I think, into third position from Richard Bartlett by the looks of it fourth. There's the 27 car of Christian Dan going round the outside of Toby Owen. And then Christopher Ginn, the white and green car behind, on board with Bruce Robinson now, looking back at some of those drivers looking to make progress then after their disqualification from the qualifying session earlier on this morning. And a place gained there by Bruce, in fact, up the inside into McLean's corner. I think that was William Bream that he was going past. So Michael Nibbs then leads them into Coppice Corner for the first time of asking. Tricky off-camera right-hander on board with Martin Tolley. Now, he is definitely one of those drivers we expect to see up there in the top 5. Remember, top 5 finishers from this race get promoted onto the A-grid for race 2. So that is very much the target here for those coming from the back of the grid to get into the top 5. But there are actually more than 5 of them, so someone's going to be missing out. Tolley certainly carving his way through the field like the proverbial hot knife through butter. A couple of cars running a bit wide in front of him. He picks his way through with no real drama. Change for second place, meanwhile. Through has gone Matt Fletcher now, the dark coloured car ahead of Tom Mallet, and then Christian Dan, the blue car, trying to take advantage of that as well. There goes Martin Tolley up the inside. Jack Brewer also in there, making some real progress. He's up the inside now of the number 99 car, sorry, 90 car, Bruce Robinson that was. Such also a little bit further behind them too. Up into the hairpin they go then, and Michael Nibbs will lead the opening lap of the race, but he will want to try and make good his escape now before some of those expected front runners really start to arrive on his tail. Christian Dan meanwhile going for third place now at the inside of Tom Mallet, and will make that one stick into Redgate Corner as well. Very nicely turned out car, that blue machine of Christian Dan. He runs a bit wide in it though, coming out of Redgate Corner, almost opened the door for Tom Mallet to come back up the inside. And then I think that's Ollie Allwood, is it not? The white and blue car, Ollie Allwood from 23rd on the grid. I reckon that's him into 5th position, is it, as they come down the hill? Yes, it is. That's number 63. So Ollie Allwood, as we expected, making fairly light work of some of these drivers who, with respect, he is usually a little quicker than, more experienced as well than many of them. Just behind him, look, is Martin Tolley. So there in front of us, the white and blue car going through is Ollie Allwood, and Martin Tolley, who started alongside him on the 12th row of the grid, is only a couple of places behind him now as well. So those two looking good for top 5 positions. Allwood, in fact, now going for a 3rd place here on Christian Dan. Make that stick into Coppice Corner, so he's already into a podium place, only just over a lap and a half into the race. That is remarkable stuff there from Ollie Allwood. Just doing what he needs to do here to get into a promotional place, which he already is. Actually, a top 5 will do him. Martin Tolley is 1 place away from a promotional spot. He's going from the inside now of Tom Mallett into the chicane. He might even have a go at Christian Dan at the same time, which he does. There's almost contact between the two of them. Did they both survive? Yes. I don't think there was actually any paint trade. It was very close indeed. So into 5th place goes Martin Tolley. He'll have to wait a little while before he gets 4th place. But now Jack Brewer is there as well. So Jack Brewer can also try and get himself into the top 5 now. Also Matt Luff, the white and purple car. We've got Marcus Bailey, the white and red car, another that's come through from the back of the grid. By the end of the race, I think those that started at the back will be at the front, and those that started at the front will certainly be a little bit further back than they'd like to be. Allwood into 2nd place now, ahead of Matt Fletcher. So only one more car stands between Ollie and the race lead, and he's made better progress through the pack than most of the others that started at the back with him. Here comes Matt Luff now at the inside of Tom Mallett, and behind him, number 54, Marcus Bailey. Won't be able to follow Matt through at Redgate, but he should be able to get past fairly shortly. Matt Luff, the AD Motorsport car, then gains 1 more spot. Down the hill again they go then. Where does Marcus Bailey make the move now? Marcus, one of the leading Masters drivers in this race now. Christian Dan in front of him, in front of Matt Luff, sorry, now then. He's Matt Luff's next target. So they sweep through the old hairpin, back with Bruce Robinson now, looking back at Tim Dorr, the number 37 car. Tim also started towards the back in 25th, so he's made some good progress. Green and yellow car then works his way up the hill through Starkeys, through Schwantz. Robinson will maybe have to defend into the right-hander. Christian Dan did not defend sufficiently though to keep Matt Luff behind. Matt is up the inside now into Coppice Corner. Should be able to complete the manoeuvre into the right-hander, and indeed does. So Matt Luff up 1 more place, Christian Dan down 1 more place. As I said, almost expected really. Dan now has Marcus Bailey going around the outside of him, coming off Coppice Corner. Allwood, by the way, has the race lead. He's got his way past Michael Nibbs now. Again, that was only really a matter of time before that happened, but he has got the race lead away. Bailey gets past Christian Dan as well, so there's your new order then. Allwood leads the way, Nibbs in 2nd, Tolley is 3rd, but Martin Tolley goes up the inside now into the Melbourne hairpin, and yeah, makes it work, nicely done. So Tolley now will set off after Ollie Allwood, and that may be the real battle for the race victory here, but Allwood's got some good speed this weekend. If it hadn't been for the disqualification from the qualifying session, he would have probably been towards the sharp end of the A grid, so break the rules, he will get punished, and that's one of the most important rules to try not to break as well, not slowing down for yellow flags, etc. Change there for 3rd as well. That was Fletcher going ahead of Nibbs. That would have been a move for the race lead a lap or 2 ago, but actually he runs wide on the exit. Nibbs goes back through, and Jack Brewer, who now might have a go at getting past both of them because he's up the inside of Nibbs into Redgate Corner, and Jack Brewer, yeah, completes the manoeuvre. So Brewer into 3rd, having started 31st, Tolley is 2nd, having started 24th, and Allwood is 1st, having started 23rd. So not bad going after just 3 laps of racing. Who is the next one that's going to come through then? I guess it's going to be the likes of Matt Luff and Marcus Bailey, but they're a 2nd or so behind this little group at the moment. Watch their pace with interest though to see if they can get into a top 5 position, or whether any of our sort of more established Group B runners maybe are able to steal a spot from them. There's Adam Craig in the number 29 car meanwhile, around the outside of Tim Dorr. And I think that's Adam gaining a position there on Tim, going through the old hairpin. Certainly Bruce Robinson is still in front of both of them. Go through Starkeys. He just through Coppice though, and there's no catching Ollie Allwood at the moment. He's streaking away from Martin Tolley, who's actually been caught here by Jack Brewer. So Jack Brewer in 3rd position, the yellow and red car, is looking a little bit quicker here than the MX-5 Championship veteran Martin Tolley. Almost as if he might be able to have a go for 2nd place here before too much longer. He's within slipstreaming range now. Down the hill into the Melbourne hairpin. There's Allwood then, the race leader. As I said, he's going to be tough to beat at the moment. Onto the brakes then. Into the hairpin, and all contact. That was Matt Luff up the inside of Michael Nibbs, and Nibbs I think tried to close the door. They both sort of trip over each other, and that allows Matt Fletcher and Marcus Bailey now to close in as well. So they're 2 by 2 into the Goddard's hairpin. Luff on the outside of Nibs, and then around the outside of Matt Fletcher was attempting to go Marcus Bailey. I don't actually think either of those moves pay off on the way into the corner. Coming off the turn, Luff is back alongside Nibs and has the inside line for Redgate corner. Jack Brewer as well, though, looking up the inside of Martin Tolley into Redgate and going past the number 23 car. So Jack Brewer, a really good move there. He's got some good speed in this race. Anyone can overtake Martin Tolley with relative ease is doing well, but of course there's no such thing as overtaking Martin Tolley with ease, because he now fights straight back again up the inside through Hollywood. Real elbows out driving style from Martin as well, which I love to watch, and he uses it to good effect there to get back into second place. Luff then did complete his move on Nibs, but Bailey did not get past Fletcher, so there are 2 cars between these two now. Race their way back uphill then into the second half of the race now. Board with Tolley, looking back at Brewer. So Jack's had one go, but the trouble is he's shown his hand now, and Martin is a wily old fox. He learns from these things. He'll know now next time they get to Redgate corner. That's where Brewer is liable to attack. Oh, off wide into the dirt though goes Matt Fletcher. I think he was trying to go around the outside there maybe of Michael Nibs and end up getting shown the edge of the road, and so Bailey goes past him. Probably won't be long before Marcus gets himself ahead of Michael Nibs as well. That is for a transfer spot, because Nibs is in 5th place at the moment, so Michael will be desperately trying to hang on to that, definitely. Through go Tolley and Brewer then into the chicane, then Luff, then the Nibs and Bailey pairing. Does Bailey get a better exit from the chicane maybe? If he does, he might be able to attack into the hairpin, which is exactly what Jack Brewer is doing to Martin Tolley. He's had a better exit from the chicane, gets to the inside and will go through. So Martin Tolley once again down to 3rd place. Now will he be able to fight back as rapidly this time as he did just under a lap ago at Redgate corner? He's waving at Jack Brewer saying, let's not waste time racing each other, let's try and catch the race leader. But I think that ship may have sailed. I think Ollie Allwood has sort of disappeared off into the distance now. Maybe Martin's biggest concern is that they pull clear of the other runners towards the back of the top 5, because look, there is still the potential that at least one of these two could slip out of the top 5, because Luff and Bailey are catching slightly now. And not far behind are Michael Nibs and Matt Fletcher, who are side by side actually for 6th position into Redgate corner. Out on top, it is still Nibs, but Fletcher with a switchback there. Novice cross on the back of the dark blue car as well. Relative newcomer to racing is Matt Fletcher. That's one of the joys of this A and B split grid system for the MX-5s. If you're relatively new, you're likely to be in the B grid, but that means you've still got something to aim for. You're not just racing for a top 30 position, you're racing for potentially a race victory, and that's one of the real appeals of this system. It's necessary simply because of the enormous entry we get. You can't physically start 60 odd cars on a grid on many UK racetracks anyway, but it's necessary in that respect, but it does actually add something as well, I think, by having this system in play. There goes Allwood then, Brewer 2nd, Tolley 3rd, 4th is Luff, continuing to catch them now because Martin Tolley, having just told Jack Brewer, no, let's work together, let's not race each other, he then immediately goes up the inside and overtakes him into the chicane, but Martin probably feels that he's a bit quicker. Certainly they're both quite slow off the chicane, and so Matt Luff gets the run and pulls alongside Brewer now for 3rd place down the hill. This is turning into a nice battle, but it's bringing more and more cars into it. Every time they run side by side, they hold each other up slightly, and it allows the cars behind to gain on them, so Luff does indeed gain on them. He gains a position as well into a podium spot now for Matt Luff. 3rd place belongs to the number 72 car. He'll have to work hard to hang on to it though. Jack Brewer is in a feisty mood today. The grass slightly there for Ollie Allwood. Needs to be careful because you can get in trouble for exceeding track limits if you're not too careful, and 5-second penalties will be dished out fairly readily by the clerk of the course. Side by side here between Brewer and Luff then. Brewer already trying to fight back here. In fact, he's got back through somehow on the exit of the Goddard's hairpin, so a better exit, presumably, from the final corner. But Luff fights back again on the inside. Oh, that was a absolutely beautiful bit of driving from Matt Luff. Talk about selling Jack Brewer the dummy. That was a really late move, but he saw that Brewer was taking the wide line into the corner and thought, well, if you're going to leave that amount of room on the inside, I'm going to have to go for it and fill it with my car. And that's exactly what Luff did. And he's going to now complete the move down at the old hairpin. Brewer, again, by virtue of having the wide line into the corner, comes off the corner quicker. This is one of the joys of the Donington Park circuit. It's such a momentum track that if you go in on that defensive line, you're going to be woefully slow on the exit of the corner, and just as soon as you've gained a position, you're then under pressure again into the very next turn. Fabulous stuff though here from the B group, albeit drivers that we usually see racing in the A group. There's no real surprise that they've been able to get to the front of the field themselves fairly quickly. The good news is though that they're not just now sort of pottering around sort of securing an easy top 5 finish. They're racing for positions worth championship points, I suppose, which is not necessarily a primary concern for these drivers, but it's an extra grid position or 2 on the grid for race 2, and more to the point, it's bragging rights back in the hotel bar later on this evening. So these drivers, many of whom will know each other and socialise with each other away from the racetrack, they'll love to get one over on each other if they can, even if it is just for a 4th place in a B race or something. So out of the final corner comes Ollie Allwood again, flirting with danger there with that track limits abuse out of the final corner. He's doing it right in front of the race control tower as well, so it won't be missed. I'm sure they will have picked up on that. And it's Tolley 2nd, Brewer 3rd, Luff 4th and Bailey 5th. That's not likely to change as far as they're likely to be our 5 drivers that get promoted. The question will be what order in which they will finish. And then Michael Nibbs and Matt Fletcher still scrapping behind, but Fletcher, I can tell you, is being warned for exceeding track limits, so keep an eye to that, see whether or not he gets himself a penalty. Starting to pair off now slightly here inside the top 5. From 2nd back to 5th, I suppose, because Ollie Allwood is now nearly 10 seconds clear of this lot, and this storming pace that he's showing. Whether or not he's going to be able to get himself up to the front in the A races by the end of the weekend, that's certainly what he'll be hoping for. He's got the pace to do so. That's why it was so mightily frustrating for him to end up in the B race, and that's also, I think, why he wasn't wasting any time going forward at the start of this race. He wanted to just get to the lead and be gone, and then bring home a fairly easy race victory. His real fight will be in races 2 and 3 to try and get to where in his mind he belongs, which is the front of the A grid. Tolley over the hump in the road down the exhibition straight, past the exhibition centre there on our right hand side. There is Ollie Allwood, and he is a country mile ahead. Look at this gap. This is what about 11 seconds or so looks like between first and then 4 cars still fighting over 2nd place. Martin Tolley once again has got Jack Brewer all over him into the hairpin at Melbourne, named after the nearby village, Melbourne Village, the nearest village to the circuit here at Donington Park. And Jack Brewer might have got himself a good run out of Melbourne. Yes, he has. He's got to the inside into Goddard. Can Tolley fend him off again? He's on the outside line. No, through goes Brewer, but Tolley again, look, gets this better exit from the corner. He'll sit in the slipstream now down to Redgate Corner, and he might be able to go up the inside. Jack Brewer, though, has already thought of this, and that's why he's driving right down the white line on the right side of the road. Eventually something has to give, and Tolley does go to the outside line, tries to go right around the outside of Brewer through Redgate Corner. This is brave stuff. He'll be hoping that Jack leaves him some room on the exit, which in fairness he does. Nice driving there from Jack Brewer. He could very easily have just eased Tolley off the road there, but Martin Tolley is going to be able to complete the manoeuvre now because of Jack Brewer's kindness at the previous corner. Well, they're still side by side. Tyre smoke there from the sideways Tolley. He's on the outside line into the old hairpin there. Matt Luff might be able to get up the inside as well. Almost touching there, almost trading paint on the exit of the corner. We're on board with Tolley once again in this 3rd position, and Jack Brewer somehow has managed to fend him off there, actually, despite the fact it looked like Tolley on 2 or 3 occasions in the last half a lap or so was going to get back through. Brewer a bit wide, Tolley trying to get to the inside, but wherever he goes, Brewer has already placed his car. They're driving really slowly now, though, because of the defensive lines being taken by Brewer, and so Marcus Bailey is now part of this squabble again. Luff goes to the outside of Tolley at Coppice. That was ambitious and was never likely to work, and in fact he's slow off the turn now, and so Marcus Bailey gets alongside him as well. Back to Bruce Robinson now. What's he getting up to? Well, he's driving down the inside of the track as well, so I think he's defending from someone. There's a car trying to go around our outside through McLean's. Didn't quite catch who that was though. The hill again into Coppice Corner, and that's it. It was Christopher Ginn in the number 20 car. Trying to go around the outside of Bruce Robinson, but it didn't work, so Bruce in the 90 car hangs onto it. There is Marcus Bailey. Look at the inside of Martin Tolley for 4th place. It's all changed now, so Brewer is still 2nd, but Luff has gone through into 3rd, and Bailey has followed him into 4th position as well. So That was opportunistic stuff there from him, but somewhere along the line, that's not really gone to plan for Martin Tolley, who is still in a transfer spot, most importantly, and by a significant margin. This lot are nearly 10 seconds ahead of Michael Nibbs and Matt Fletcher now. So they're still on the track, likely to stay inside the top 5, but they're still debating these positions as if it was for an overall race victory. It's not even for a B race victory, this. So you sort of think, well, why take the risk? Why race wheel to wheel like this? Because you could very easily end up off the road and out of the race, or losing ground and falling out of the promotion spots. But that's sort of not the point, really. We're all here to race. They're all here to enjoy themselves. And Martin Tolley will have enjoyed that move up the inside of the old hairpin. That's always such a satisfying place to execute an overtake, which he just did beautifully on Marcus Bailey. But you know, they paid their money. They may as well have a race, and that's really a nice attitude for them to have as well. I'm sure the spectators trackside are appreciating that as well. Lovely, mild, sunny weather here at Donington Park as well, so plenty of people have come out to enjoy this BRSCC race meeting. Plenty of action from the MX-5s. Right, this is Luke Such, meanwhile, a bit further back, who has his hands full rather, trying to keep this big gaggle of cars behind him at bay. James Love appears to be the car immediately behind him, the black number 9 car, but on the inside of him is looking number 53, and there's contact, and James saves it. Nicely done. Jonathan Fields then there just tagged him as they went through the corner, and actually James only loses 1 position, although he may now lose another as they go down the hill through the Cradock curves. No, manages to fend off Mark Bond in the purple number 11 car. And then also not far behind them, looks to be number 7, is that, trying to join in the battle. 17 maybe, actually, Andrew McGregor. Onto the final lap, though, goes Ollie Allwood. Ollie heads up the hill then, just over half a lap still to go, and this is going to be one of the most dominant victories of the season, I think, for the MX-5 Championship. Even though the B races, sometimes we do get this situation where there's a quick driver who's been demoted for whatever reason onto the B grid. They do tend to run away with it, but this is still a reasonably rare occurrence. That it's going to be over 15 seconds, I think, is advantage over this lot, who are still debating second place. They've all bunched back together again now on this final lap, and Martin Tolley trying to get past Jack Brewer. Matt Luff, though, has got himself into second place now, so Luff is at the head of this little queue now. Jack Brewer won't like that one bit. We know that he's up for the fight. He's certainly going to have a go at getting back ahead if he can get close enough. Allwood, though, has no one else in sight. Heads down into the Melbourne hairpin for the final time. Hasn't really had to push too hard, although he's on a quick lap again here. I think he's after that fastest lap. He's already got the fastest lap, but I think he's trying to improve upon that fastest lap here in race number 2. And who can blame him, really? Comes out towards the final corner then, and is about to see the checkered flag. Ollie Allwood will win race 1B here at Donington Park. Takes the checkered flag. A really, really nice result there for Ollie Allwood then, and now the waiting game begins as we wait for anybody else to appear. Who is going to be in second place? It's going to be Jack Brewer, I think, who's got himself back ahead of Matt Luff. That then gives him a bit of a tag in the tail coming out of the final corner, but he is going to be Brewer that's second place, and third for Luff, with Tolley 4th and Marcus Bailey in 5th position. So, brilliant drive that from Ollie Allwood. Gets the fastest lap on the final lap as well. Jack Brewer second, Matt Luff third, then Tolley and Bailey, with Michael Nibbs 6th place, Adam Craig 7th. Fletcher dropped down to 8th with a 5-second track limits penalty, whilst Bryn Griffiths and Tim Dorr round out the top 10. Tim, another driver that came from towards the back, having started in 25th position.